Hi, welcome back to The Journey. I'm your host, Bervin Harris, and today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about recidivism programming. When we think about recidivism, we often think about those who are formerly incarcerated, trying to get them off of the track of committing a crime or going back into the life of crime, right? And so what I want to do when we talk about recidivism today is forget about being arrested or incarcerated. There are some of us who have habits that allow us to do them daily. We just haven't gotten caught yet. Right? And so when I think about recidivism, I think about breaking any bad habit, any bad thing that we do that's offensive from one to another or offensive to yourself. So with that mindset, we all should be having and being a part of some kind of program that's going to help us get on the right track. All right, so don't go anywhere. The name of this program is called iBelong. We'll be back, and welcome again to The Journey.
Welcome to the Mr. Harris Show. 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 It's called The Journey.
What was your favorite topic? Do you guys have a favorite topic?
That's a hard question.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot. Let me see. We have effective communication, incorporated body. We did role modeling, and we talked about power perception. Huh?
Mine's is the takers, givers, and
the
circle of friends.
Circle of friends.
I like that one because I really do have a small circle of friends, and so when we brought up the topic, I thought about all my close friends that I have, and so I thought about them, and I put them each into a category which I thought they were in, and so after doing that, I decided to change my actions towards those friends, and basically it helped them in the long run because not only did I stop being a giver and just only being a giver, they started to be a giver also because they obviously seen that I stopped from doing things that I normally would do. And so I believe that one was really touched me more than any other one, just because my close group of friends became closer after that, which is something that I find to be really cool.
Interesting, right? So for those of us who are wondering what he's talking about, we have this this thing we do called the circle of friends, and looking at it in terms of the two big circles on the outside would be the givers in your life and the takers in your life, right? Because it happens every single day. You have certain people that you constantly give to who wants information from you, maybe need some change, right? Need the hugs, right? You're always depositing into their life, right? Those are your givers. And then you have the takers, the people that you go and get those things from, right? Like, you know, who you're looking at too as mentors, and you're looking at for a ride to get to work, right? But then there's that circle of the neutral. You know, you guys are just compatible, but you're not really giving and taking from each other, right? You guys just say it's enjoys the company and for that only. And so it's really important to identify and balance out your circles. It's important to have people who take from you in your circle. Because think about it, for most of us, if we're giving and looking for nothing in return, it makes us feel good. Right? And I believe in that law of reciprocity. I believe that, hey, if I deposit into your life, then someone else is going to deposit into my life, right? So I need to keep that balance. And so what you just talked about is you went home and you looked at that, like, all right, who's in these circles, right? And sometimes you have to redefine people, because as you start to make more income or less income, people will look at you differently and expect more from you. As you become more knowledgeable, there's some people say like, yo, man, I really look up to, you got friends probably looking up to you now and saying, yo, I really want to see how she would handle this. And so now they become takers. And maybe at one point you were a taker from them, right? It happens, the circle changes, right? What was your favorite one?
I would say incorporated body. Only because you use it every day, and then I feel like from when I first started iBelong, I didn't have that many responsibilities, but now I do, and it's like I'm in charge of another life, which is my son. So it's
That's right.
Being a father is like, that just helps me a lot throughout the day. Like, I see a lot of parents get frustrated, but I don't really see myself getting frustrated when he does things he's not supposed to. I just, take a breath, take a step back, and just incorporate myself, and I just show him.
So for people who are listening who don't have a clue what you're talking about, what do you mean by incorporate yourself?
Well, incorporated body has to do with your spirit, your mind, and your body. And most important, spirit would be the source of energy. Mind is just what's on your mental, what you think about. the thoughts that you have, and then body is what you do physically. So you use all three of those things to incorporate yourself, and then just get back in tune with yourself.
Yeah. I of course all these are my favorites, which is why I kind of decided to kind of teach and come up with these philosophies and teach them to you guys. What for somebody who's listening in who could be, abusing themselves, whether it's through alcohol, whether it's through drugs, whether it's through sex addiction, or anything else. It could be a plethora of things, right? How could the incorporated body process help them? You just talked about how it helps you as a parent, right? So now you don't explode with anger when your son does something. You incorporate yourself. You talked about the spirit being your source of energy. So I go there, get a hold of my source of energy, tell my mind, relax, man. Tell your hands, put your hands down, right? And talk to your son and explain to your son and discipline him in a different way, right? So what would you tell for somebody who has like a habit in something? How could an incorporated body help them? Oh, Max got that twisted mouth going. I mean, he's thinking like, Who got this one?
I mean, I think it all has to do with which addiction it is, but I mean, if I'm addicted to alcohol and I run to alcohol every time I have an issue, then it will start with your spirit.
Yes.
Get a better spirit, think positive things, think I'm better than this, I don't need this alcohol, I don't need this or that. And then your body, just throw the alcohol out, don't go to the liquor store no more. Do something else positive to keep your mind off of that same exact thing that you were addicted to.
Yeah, I talk about this all the time. Look at those who are entertainers. If you rap, you're a singer. Back in the days, you couldn't go into any recording studio, and everybody's like, "Yo, man, let's go outside and get lit real quick." And they all go outside and smoke or do sniff, whatever they got to do, and I'm in the room just bouncing because I'm incorporating my own self. So they went to go get energy that I already have. They went to go get on another level, and I'm already there waiting for them. But I did that through a mental process, right? Getting a hold of my source of energy, telling my body, yo, we're gonna have a great time, yo, let's get engaged. Telling my mind, yo, let's get these lyrics together, They had to smoke to do that. Same thing, at least they think it is. Like, we're gonna have a good time tonight, yo, son. Yo, I'm gonna get these lyrics, And I'm like, yo, I don't need that. I'm already good, right? I don't need to drink to do that either. I don't need to sniff to do that. And so I think that's the message I'm probably looking for you guys to share, is that the incorporated body, if we could do that, if you can learn that process, and to do that, you got to stop everything, right? And just get a hold of that energy, get that mind, and then tell the body, come on, we can move, all right? Who did I hear from? Who did talk about their favorite topic yet?
Me.
All right.
I would have to say definitely handling conflict. I think there's a lot of small things when we talk about handling conflict that generally help you get through every situation. So if you feel like you're reaching confrontation, you must evaluate what level you're on out of 10. You cannot sit there and handle a situation if you're out of 10. Yes. You must be out of 7 or 6, and then you can go continue and try and communicate through that situation. But before learning those type of things, I would just try to handle conflict in the most aggravated way, and that was never the right way.
So we got a little bit of time left. What advice could you give some adults who are tuning in, who have their masters in social work, or psychologists, or teachers or educators who are finding this population and younger challenging? Hey, I don't know how to reach. I hear them when I'm talking, but there's no way they're gonna listen to me say the things that this man, Mr. Harris, is talking about. What would you say to encourage them? Because we know that it's necessary, which is why people do what they do. But for a teacher, and even sometimes if you might have felt discouraged in the past. I think now you've kind of got it together. But what advice could you lend to them?
I think a good piece of advice is to actually just sit down and kind of listen to yourself. Because in this time and age, we have so much social media and you have so many people you can talk to all day, but At certain times, you don't need that. Sometimes you just need to talk with yourself because you don't do that often now anymore. The only time you get to do that is when you're like going to sleep, right? But other than that, sometimes you're even on your phone before you go to sleep. So I think sitting down and just talking to yourself, not trying to go to sleep, just talking to yourself about your problems, what you want to do, what you could do, and just take a break from everything around you. Because, you know, especially living in like the Bronx, the city is really noisy. It's really noisy. So when I get to nice quiet areas and I see that it's quiet, it amazes me that it's so quiet in certain places. Like it's just something that I'm not used to. So I see how loud life is right now, and so I try to take time to myself and talk to myself if I'm in a noisy situation, and that just helps me a whole lot than pretty much anything.
Interesting. Anybody else got any advice to give on that?
I think some advice I could definitely give would be to be open to learning new things. I think no matter what kinds of PhD you have, where you are in your life, I think everybody can learn the definition of communication, how to better handle conflict, how to perceive the world, how to deal with perception, and things of that nature. I think just being open to new philosophies and the younger generation learning and being open, I think that's the best thing we can do for this world.
Yeah. I want to leave you out, sir.
I agree with. I was gonna say be open, but also trust other people. Like, don't just look at this person and think about talking to them. But actually, go talk to them because you never know what they have to offer, or you never know if they say something to catch your ear and things like that. They'll learn off of you. You'll learn off of them.
Yeah. So let me add to this. Let me say this before I forget. And be mad at myself. I am so proud of all of you. Talk about the journey. I remember where you started. I've known you for a quadrillion years already. And as you talk about, being able to control anger, right? I've seen you.
Yeah.
Right? We know, look at that amazing, beautiful smile you have, but we've seen that smile be, replaced by a frown with knuckles, right? Mm-hmm. But you learn how to process that, and you, the outgoing guy that you are, both of you guys are Mr. and Mr. Quiet, but brilliant inside. Mm-hmm. And now you figured out and found a way to really share your experiences with other people. But my big advice would be to everyone is besides taking the step and getting it started, one of our core values here at Renaissance is that we try to find people who are believers. And when I say believers, believe that it can be done. So the moment I sit down with any young person, any older person, doesn't matter. I'm going to walk in that situation like, I believe I can do it. Or should I say, I believe that we can do it. I believe that if I'm able to get together and we can have conversations, we can create a safe place, and we can trust each other, using the word that you just used, that we can get to the next level. And I think it starts with that, because if you fill your space with non-belief, you're already starting way behind where you need to be, right? So we gotta believe, and we can't give up on our young people. We can't give up on our communities, no matter how disarrayed it may appear to be, no matter how crazy the system may be, because we all got issues with the system. But you know what? There are still people within the system. And that's what we're concerned about. We're concerned about the people. I'm concerned about you guys. And there are 3 levels to iBelong. And so the first level is that anyone comes in who wants to be a part of the experience. And we really try to find people who could really use the help. And we have dinner. After dinner, we have a topic for the day. And then usually we're working on a project, uses music or something like that. Just something to kind of get involved and have a good time. We do trips and so on and so forth. But then these guys take a test and they, and after 12 weeks, can you remember all the content of what we talked about? Then there's another level, right? Level 2 of iBelong is, can you train another? And we call those in our work credible messengers, right? Because let's be honest, I don't care how cool I am, I may be. These guys are way cooler than me, So when they walk into a room with young people want to hear what they have to see. After what they have to say, they want to see the guy with the tats on his arm who talked about being on the streets and selling and being out there and hustling and fighting. That's who they want to hear from. You're the credible messenger. And so we wanted to equip these guys and girls and others being able to walk in rooms with young people who have pens petitions, who's suspended by the district. Those types of young people. We've done that many times. We walked in these schools, and these guys are amazing. The moment you say, hey, I'm too from foster care. Hey, me too, I was arrested. Hey, me too, I've been bullied by police officers. There's a relationship. And then here's how I deal with that. And here's how I'll be able to move past that. And then they want to hear every word that come out of your mouth, right? So the first level that we do, like as I mentioned, anyone gets involved. The second level is for the trainers. The third level is that we work with some of the younger population, right? And these guys go out and they kind of work with them, all right? I hope this has been helpful to you. Those of us who are looking into getting into, even though we're talking about it as being recidivism work, but we can really look at it as mentorship, counseling, group sessions. There's other ways that we can define it. But I think the main thing we're saying today is believe and get started. Believe and get started. I want to let you guys have the last word before we leave. So any closing thoughts before we close out the show?
Just learn to trust, learn to be open, learn to know that blood does not make your family, because that's what I learned. Water has done way more for me than blood has. So that's what I learned. Just trust.
Let me say this about Jeremy. Jeremy came, as we mentioned, didn't say much. We ended up hiring him. We gave him a job here at Renaissance, and we had you teaching astronomy. And how much did he know about astronomy? Not much at all. But he went and studied, watched videos, and became very, very good at astronomy. Got taxed now with astronomy. And tell him what you named your son. You had a son?
Yeah, my son's middle name is Nova.
His middle name? That's his middle name. I thought his first name was Nova.
His first name is Jason.
That's
my middle name, Jason. So his middle name is Nova. Yeah.
Okay.
But everybody likes Nova, so they just call him Nova.
All right, and that name came from being on this journey. So part of your journey is coming through Renaissance and taking astronomy, and hey, my son now is Nova, right? That's how life really works. But what's crazy, let me keep the story going. Max Kate comes gets on board, and we end up hiring him as well, and we put him with you, and he took a love for astronomy. Now you're gone. He runs the astronomy program,
and I love it. I love it.
Right? It's crazy how how life really works. But any closing remarks for the show?
I would just say, if you have an interest in something, to learn about it, really learn about it, and to really dive deep and search into it. And if it really does interest you, try to, I would say, write about it, because writing about something does help in many ways. For me, it does. So I would say that.
I think my piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to be positive all the time, or to look at things in a positive light. Like, although things may seem negative, things may be left and right, up and down, the one thing you can have is positivity and hope.
And on that note, we're going to end on that, and love you guys, and thank you for being on the show. Thank you guys for tuning into The Journey. I'm your host, Mr. Harris, and we'll see you soon. All right? Be good.
Welcome to the Mr. Harris Show. 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 It's called The Journey.